Alright, let's try something a little new. A little different. So I've shared snowy days with you all before. I figured now would be this would be a good one, because this has probably been the prettiest for a while. It's also definitely been the most dangerous. We've got basically ice, snow, and then ice and snow on top of that. And a lot of these roads haven't been plowed yet, so it's been interesting. It's still really pretty though. See this this slurry in the middle of the road here? This is the real problem. Because you just float on top of it rather than drive through it. But everyone seems to be taking it in stride, so they're being safe. Been thinking about gamepads. What I mean, ideally it would be a wireless gamepad, but just making something for video gaming, because I find I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's like with the numpad. When the numpad is a grid layout rather than a vertical stagger, like I have a much easier time with it. It's instant. With the grid or with the ergo style, I have to think about it a little bit for half a second before I go ahead. It's probably more like a third or a quarter of a second, but still. And whenever I'm gaming on, maybe I just got too much muscle memory tied up in numpads and gaming horizontal stagger layout. And if that's the case, that actually implies that I would have to have a horizontal stagger half key keyboard to do any kind of gaming on, which is super weird. I might be just fine with a grid layout, but I'll find out. The vertical stagger though, it's probably gonna have to go. So if I do make a gamepad, for me at least, well, you know, it wouldn't actually matter, because I would make it so that you could do the vertical stagger or grid layout. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, never mind then. That's just fine. Let's see. I just have problems with getting it to click in my brain, and I haven't, you know, I don't do nearly as much gaming now, not even close, as I used to. So that's probably part of it, maybe a significant part of it. And you know, this is probably recording at some high. Oh wow, I wonder how that sounded. It sounded horrible. That my phone might be recording its front face camera or rear face camera, so it might be recording at some high volumes, I guess, megapixels. So my phone might actually overheat in like 10 minutes or something. So we'll find out if the video suddenly shuts off at the 10-minute mark. But the gamepad, right? So just having that kind of handy gamepad-y thing. And I think more about how other people could use it, and then I think more about, like, well, it's the same thing with the numpad. I want to add all kinds of stuff to it. I want to put a screen on, I want to put OLED on it, I want to put a rotary encoder on it, I want to put a menu screen on it, so that I can, you know, control and reprogram the thing on the fly, which is totally fine. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can fit it all into a Pro Micro. But that's easy enough. We should be able to set it for, like, I was introduced to the idea of setting up the keyboard style input or interface as a gamepad, because then you can USB gamepad it to whatever you feel like, and that's pretty cool. So that's tempting and might be easy. Well, I don't know. You might need different code for that, because the Teensy is not, or rather the Pro Micro is not entirely, it doesn't have a ton of space on it, so I don't know if including the libraries for, well, it might not be that much. I mean, if you add the high-speed USB for HID interface for a keyboard, if you add those libraries, it takes up a lot of space. But if you add a gamepad on top of that, I don't know if it would use most of the same libraries, or if it would use just too much memory to fit everything in. So the ideal layout, or the goal would be to have a gamepad that would have probably the horizontal, stagger. Maybe you can set it so that it's, oh, that's weird. Either horizontal stagger or grid layout. That's weird. It's weird, confirmed weird. Maybe even for those wide keys. Oh, that's interesting. And then it would have a screen on it, and possibly a rotary encoder, or possibly the arrow keys in the middle would be used to navigate the menu, so that you could set up things and, you know, bind X key to Y, whatever. Set it up so that it's reprogrammable on the keyboard itself, or on the gamepad itself. All right, get ready. Shield your ears. Oh my! Oh wow! Do I get? Oh, there we go. Yeah, chill out, chill out. Be cool. All right. Goodness gracious! Hopefully that doesn't frost up the whole windscreen now. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, so that you would be able to program it however you like, and then save that program. You know, actually, it wouldn't be... Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard. Wouldn't be that hard to set it up so that it had multiple profiles. So you can set it up for one game in particular, and then flip a profile. You know, save slot 1 can be your layout for whatever game, and if you wanted, for some reason, a different layout for another game, you could do that. Save it in save slot 2. That'd be an interesting challenge. I really don't think it would be that much. I have some existing gamepad designs that I've been messing around with in the keyboard layout editor that I think would be pretty good. And trying to think of how I would set this up in KiCad, because most of those positions are going to be shared and they can't overlap. Interesting. Humming noises. Yeah, something like that would be pretty cool. Of course, what would be cooler is if you had a smart numpad with an Arduino Due that had an I2C gamepad attached to it, and all the slave keyboards would just add on to it. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.